So Faire Wholesale is a pretty new platform. I joined about a year ago, and when I joined there was very little information on how to get consistent sales, and you didn't have keywords or anything else like you did on other platforms, so I was really unsure how I was supposed to get buyers to my listings. So I really don't like teaching topics unless I have a lot of experience with the topic, and like I said, I've been on Faire for over a year and I have gotten some pretty good sales on there so far, so I feel very comfortable about talking about Faire Wholesale. And also recently in Craftybase Academy, I would say about a few weeks ago, I just posted a new module on Faire Wholesale. So again, there was no information when I first joined, so in this module it teaches you everything step by step: how to set up your shop, how to set up your listings, how to optimize for search engine optimization, and also how to ship your candles all around the world. So all of that is in Craftybase Academy, and right now I'm having a New Year sale, so you can get $50 off with the code NEWYEAR. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested. But in this video, I'm still going to give you information on my experience with Faire Wholesale, how I got more sales, and my plans for next year. So let's get into it. So with Faire Wholesale, I really didn't put a lot of effort into the platform. I was kind of busy this past year with some projects, so I really just signed up and threw my products up on there, and I didn't really do anything, but I still made about almost $13,000 in sales. I did not post it on social media, I didn't send any emails, I didn't run any ads, so all of those sales are organic. So to give you a visual, I wanted to show you my analytics. So if you look at my analytics, when I first joined Faire Wholesale, you can see I didn't really get a whole bunch of sales, but in April I started to do some SEO research. So I sat down, me and my employee Grace, we sat down and we just spent some time, well, I spent time like analyzing Faire Wholesale, kind of putting thought into what I had learned on the platform so far, and I spent some time sitting down and we just kind of restructured some of the listings. I did a few tweaks here and there, and I almost immediately saw sales. So if you look at these analytics from April, after April, you can see I got a lot more sales, and this was just from doing some SEO tweaks to my Faire Wholesale site. All right, I had a customer walk in, but where were we? We were talking about the Faire Top Shop badge. So during this time, Faire came out with this kind of Top Shop like reward, and I knew if I hit all the requirements for that, that could help me in search even more. So this is the 4th quarter that we have been a Faire Top Shop, which is really awesome. So every quarter we've been hitting those requirements to get the badge on the profile. So if you're able to, try to strive for that Top Shop badge so you can get more recognition on the platform and get more sales. So this $12,800 is pretty realistic. It's not some huge number like I made 50 grand. I feel like it's very realistic for anybody to get on Faire, as long as you have a good product and you have a good understanding of how business works, then you can make some sales on Faire. So for no effort, that amount is not bad at all. Now let's talk about the cons of Faire. I have run into a lot of people who have been a little bit hesitant about joining Faire because of the 25% commission fee. Now let me tell you, I was wholesaling before Faire, and I never had more than like 3 or 4 clients at a time. Wholesale for me before Faire did not bring in a whole bunch of money. It's just a lot of effort on my part, just the back and forth email chains, getting shipping quotes, and you know, it was a very long process for each order. And before online platforms, you used to have to hire a wholesale rep, because acquiring new wholesale clients is a lot of work, and a lot of business owners just don't have the time for that. So they would hire these wholesale reps to do the footwork for them, to build the wholesale relationships for them. So for me, 25% isn't a big deal when Faire is bringing me wholesale clients with literally no effort. And when those wholesale clients do make another purchase, it's going to be 15%. And if you are bringing in the wholesale clients to Faire, it's actually 0%. They don't take any money if you are referring your own wholesale clients. So when we're talking about the 25% fee, keep this in mind when you're joining Faire Wholesale, because again, you're already selling your products at 50% off. So you have to be very intentional about your product and how much you're charging for that product. So here are some questions that you can ask yourself to see if it's going to be profitable for you to join Faire Wholesale. So are your candles so complicated to make that they take a lot of time? Are your materials super expensive? Are you ordering all of your materials from like the most expensive candle making site? If you are, you need to start finding alternatives. So the past year, I've actually been switching to a lot of local alternatives. So I hardly ever order candle supplies online. All of my fragrance oils are bought in like locally. So I buy a lot of fragrances from Waxy Flower. If you know, they have their fragrances are like $15.95 for 1 pound, which is a pretty good price, and I save a lot of money on shipping. So you really need to think about cutting costs and trying to create candle lines that are going to be profitable for you. So if that means scrapping your last idea and creating something that you can wholesale, think about doing that. So there's a lot of ways that you can still make profit and then give Faire their 25% and make some money off of Faire Wholesale. Also, last one, are you able to ship your candles safely without having to spend a ton of money on packaging? So are you taking your candles and individually boxing them and putting all of these different packing materials in a box and shipping that off? That could be very costly. So that is one thing I did struggle with when I first got on Faire. I had to really think about how I was shipping things. I tried a lot of different techniques, but now I've got it down to where I can ship candles and they don't break, and I don't have to spend a lot of money on materials, and customers don't have to spend a lot of money on shipping because I'm able to ship them pretty efficiently without having to use like huge boxes if I don't have to. So you really need to streamline the process so that it's worth it. So for example, my dessert candles, they do take a long time to make them compared to just a regular candle. So although I'm known for my dessert candles, I'm not going to make hundreds of dessert candles and put them on Faire, because if they're ordering all these dessert candles, it's going to take me longer to make. So I am going to keep the dessert candles there that I have and maybe add a couple here or there, but I'm going to focus more on single pour candles. So here's an example of a product line that I'm creating that I'm going to launch here in a couple weeks, and it is the Zodiac collection. So take a look at the candles here. So Grace and I took time to make these really neat and unique designs. I took a look at Zodiac candles and I noticed they're kind of all designed very similar. So we wanted to do something that was unique. So it's kind of like a tarot design, and you can see the containers here, and they're single pour candles. So I can shell out a lot of these candles really quickly compared to my dessert candles. And because they are unique, they're nicely designed, they look really nice in these containers. So it still has a higher perceived value than a regular glass container with just kind of a generic label. So I can charge more for these candles. So I can make a lot of them and charge more and make a better profit. So this is just one way that you can kind of tweak your candle making process so that you can make more money on wholesale. So another tip for you is to aim to have a minimum order value of $150 or less. So that means for you to ship out a wholesale order to a client, if you can get it to where they have to spend $150 or less, that's going to incentivize people a lot more. So just think about it. If your wholesale minimum is $250 or $300, you might steer away a lot of potential clients because they're having to stock their retail stores with a variety of products. And if they're just spending $300 with you, they might just try to find another candle maker where they can order like $100 or so of products to kind of put in their storefronts. So keep that in mind. Again, going back to being intentional about your products and your pricing, make sure that you can meet that order value because you will get more wholesale clients that way. And just think of it like this: you're building relationships. So even if they don't order $500 the first time, they may order $150 from you. If you believe in your product and your product sells, it does well, and you have great service, they're going to come back. So even if they order $150 from you the first time, and if they find your products are flying off the shelf, they're going to come back to you. So for example, I have a Canadian client and they had a kind of a rough time ordering their first time with me. So I gave them great customer service. They were emailing back and forth because they had some problems with like the actual Faire Wholesale platform. I gave them some tips on how to reach customer service, and I kept following up with them. They placed an order with me, and now every 4 weeks or so, they're placing $300, $400 orders with me. So that tells me that my products are doing really great in their store, and because I gave them that great customer service, we're building a relationship. So now they come back to me every month and buy more candles from me. So just keep that in mind when you're wholesaling. It's more about building relationships than getting a whole bunch of money on their first order. Now, let's say you've got your platform up, you've made a sale, and now you're wondering, how do you get those people coming back? So on Faire Wholesale, I have a 16% reorder rate. which is pretty good. And I have a lot of repeat clients. So some tips on getting repeat clients is you need a good turnaround time. So 7 days or less. So nobody wants to wait 30 days for their orders to ship out. So again, refine your process so you can get those orders out pretty quick. Make sure the product is good. We have to make sure the product is good before we go on wholesale. So if you feel like your product's not good enough yet, keep on testing, keep on getting opinions from family and friends about how to improve your product until you feel like you have a great product that can sell well in someone's retail store. So do that before you start selling your products on Faire. And don't forget the simple things like barcodes, marketing materials, and free samples. These simple things can impress a buyer. So I ordered for my store, I buy almost everything from my shop, my storefront on Faire. So I ordered fudge, and they included this wholesale marketing materials. So it's a sheet that tells me how to market the fudge, how to cut the fudge up into samples, and they even included something so simple as a sign. And I hung one of these signs in my door, and I have gotten a lot of people that came into my shop just because they saw that I sell fudge. So something so simple can make a huge difference and get you some return customers. So the last thing I want to talk about is use Faire's marketing tools. They have email marketing, which I haven't really taken that much advantage of, but I am going to use it a lot in the next year. And did you know it costs money to have an email list? So with Faire Wholesale, it doesn't cost you money to store your wholesale clients' emails there. So with an email list, I pay about $150 a month for 17,000 emails. So that can save you some money. If you're collecting wholesale emails, you can kind of take those emails out of your email provider so you're not having to pay for those emails and just keep them on Faire. So use their email marketing. You can send emails, promotions whenever you have new products. So it's a really useful tool that they have. They also have events. So they have winter markets and summer markets, and these can bring you a lot of new clients. They're actually having a winter market at the end of January that I'm participating in. So that's why I'm planning on launching new things so that when people come to my store, I have a variety of products that they can choose from. So participate in their markets. So here are my plans for Faire Wholesale in the upcoming year. So like I mentioned, I really didn't have a lot of time to fiddle with Faire Wholesale this past year, but now that I have experience on the platform, I do have some plans on how I can increase sales. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more niche single pour candle products that I can make pretty quickly, like the Zodiac collection. I have other ideas for collections. I really want to come out with ideas that I know will sell well in brick and mortar shops. So that is one thing I'm going to be working on. So I also want to write more marketing materials. This was a great example of marketing materials from the fudge company. So I would like to do something similar for Winding Wick candles. I currently do have a little welcome package that I send out to new clients, but I think if I did more marketing materials that they could put on the shelves, that will help sell candles more. And in return, that will make you more sales because their candles are selling in the storefronts. So I feel like I have gotten so much insight on Faire Wholesale. It's kind of a new platform, so there wasn't a lot of information, but I'm really excited about the upcoming year. So don't forget that Candle Biz Academy is on sale. I have a step-by-step process on how to sell on Faire and actually send out and ship orders. So if you're interested in that, make sure to click the link down below, and don't forget to use the code NEWYEAR so you get $50 off. So thanks again. Let me know if you have any comments or questions about Faire Wholesale down below, and I will see you guys on the next one.